Have you ever noticed there are some conversations you never forget? Not because they're dramatic, but because they remind you of why you do what you do, why you chose the work you chose in the first place. Yeah. Years ago, after one of my workshops, a young woman waited until everyone left. And quietly, she came over and asked me, Susan, do you see people privately? Well, the answer was yes. And a few weeks later, we met to discover what was going on. Well, she was married with two young kids and worked with her husband as a farmhand and tried to keep everything together and everything going. And as she shared her story, one thing became painfully clear. Somewhere between taking care of everyone else and everything else, she had stopped believing that her own life mattered. Yeah. She couldn't remember the last time she'd asked herself what she wanted. And every day looked the same. Take care of the kids, work, come home, dinner, go to bed exhausted, rinse and repeat, do it all over again. And little by little, she stopped imagining that life could be any different. She had talked herself into believing that this was simply the life she was meant to live. So I asked her that one question, that one golden question. What would you love? What would you love? At first, she couldn't answer. She had forgotten about dreaming and hoping and getting a sense of what it was she would truly love. She had spent so many years taking care of everyone else that she'd forgotten she was actually allowed to ask herself that question. She forgot she could give herself permission to dream. What would I love? Well, we worked together. Over the next year, slowly, she began imagining a different future as we investigated different questions that she could introduce to herself, her life, her living. What could this look like? What's my first step here? She accepted a position as a shadow teacher at a local school. It allowed her to earn an income while still being close to her children as they grew. And at night, she studied to become a financial advisor. She met people who encouraged her. She won awards. She traveled. Her husband found somebody else to be a farmhand. Today, she owns a beautiful salon where she helps women feel good about themselves. Now, people often look at stories like hers and think, that's the new career that changed her life. I don't. I believe her life began changing the day she stopped believing that the story she'd been living was the only story she could live. People often think coaching is about giving someone confidence. No, I don't believe that. I believe it's about creating a space where someone can hear themselves again. Yeah. This week I was reminded of something I don't ever want to forget. What we do matters. The conversations we have matter. The questions we ask matter. The encouragement that we often receive, that matters. Because sometimes one conversation doesn't change a day. Sometimes it changes the directions of a life. Just one conversation, one question. What would you love? And then being with it. That's why after more than 30 years of working with women, I still love what I do. Not because I have the answers. No, but because I've had the privilege of watching women remember who they are. And once that begins, everything else begins to change. So today, I'd like to leave you with this one question. Have you been telling yourself a story so long that you started believing it's the only story that you can live? Maybe your story sounds like this. It's too late. Nothing's ever going to change. Or I'm too old to learn something like that. Or this is just the way my life is. It's always been like that. Well, what if it isn't? What if the next chapter of your life begins the moment you become curious enough to question the story you've been living? Next week, I'll be welcoming women from around the world into the Self-Trust Reset Workshop. For 3 afternoons, we'll slow down, we'll ask questions, we'll reconnect with what we already know, that we didn't know we knew, and begin creating our next chapter, one bold step at a time. Because I don't believe anyone needs fixing. I believe we've simply spent too long believing a story that no longer fits the women and the woman we're becoming. So if today's story resonated with you, if you wake up in the middle of your life asking, is this all there is? I'd love to welcome you. Come on in to the Self-Trust Reset Workshop. You can reserve your place by clicking the link below. Until we meet again, live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be, because the world needs more of you, trusting you, creating a life you love. Susan Lazar Hart, your transformational mindset coach, self-trust all the way. Have a great one.